Good morning. Welcome to this idyn online partner training. In this session, my colleague Andre will train you on how to implement direct banking for Business Central. Before we get started, today and Thursday includes 4 training sessions. You can still join the other sessions via the link in the news, idyn.nl/news. Hi, welcome to this idyn online training session for partners. In this session, my colleague Andre will train you how to implement direct banking for Business Central. Before we get started, today and Thursday includes 4 training sessions. You can still join the other sessions via idyn.nl/news and click the first news bulletin. Before we dive into this direct banking session, I want to take a quick moment to run you through some of the highlights of our solutions. Direct banking. Save 80% of your daily banking processing time with direct banking for Business Central. Connect to any bank within the EU with Ponto and worldwide with CoBase Bank Connector. Andre will tell you more about it during the session. Ship 365. Connect to over 1,200 carriers with Ship 365. Connect to the Nshift Delivery Hub, Nshift Transmart, or the SendCloud carrier platforms. Book, print, and ship. Book, ship, and print from within Business Central. Integrate with Tasklet Mobile AMS to pick, pack, and ship directly from your handheld device. Connect to 365, the low-code connectivity toolkit for developers and Business Central users. Import and export data with a wide range of methods and data formats. Sign, store, and automate follow-up with Approve It. Connect Business Central to DocuSign and let your customers e-sign safely via, let your customers e-sign your sales quotes safely via DocuSign. DocuSign Approve It is a new solution of idyn. Join the session on Thursday to find out more about it and get an in-depth training on how to implement Approve It 365. Dino. Simply add fields to tables onto any page of Business Central using Dino. With Dino, you can also edit tables in Business Central directly. This is quite a small solution of idyn. It's a pay-per-use solution, and it's easy to start. Sorry for that. Object Manager Advanced. This solution probably doesn't need any introduction. It's the all-you-can-need developer tool for NAV and Business Central. Let's dive into today's session. If you have any questions, you can put them in the questions tab. I already saw one question. Greeting as well. Thank you. Welcome as well to this session. You can still join the other training sessions today, this afternoon, or on Thursday. And I'm going to make my colleague Andre presenter.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. My name is Andre. Welcome by this short training session, demo session, how to use our idyn product direct banking. For this session, I want to go over an extended range of topics in this 1.5 hours that we have. First of all, not much to do with our idyn app and Business Central, but I just want to show you the integration in Ponto, because there are a lot of questions about how to set it up in Ponto. So in this session, we'll try to do some new stuff to also create the integration in Ponto, and from the integration connected to the Business Central idyn direct banking solution. That's part one of the training. Then we are going to synchronize the direct banking accounts and set it up in Business Central. I want to show you some options how to work with the Dutch Bank Zero solution, the localization, and also the new feature, the W1, with the direct banking matching solution engine from our product. Certainly, I want to show you some setup parts for how to set up batch processing and how to set up, let's say, the payment initiation and that kind of stuff. Then the last part is also the first import of the statements, the reconciliation process. We will go over there. A little bit of the transaction archive, and I want to show you the export payment. What I will try to do is for each topic that we have to stop after the topic for questions or other remarks. And if no questions, I will continue with the next topic. If there are questions, I will try to answer those questions directly. Okay, let's start with what is direct banking? What do we do, and how do we connect? We integrate with banks, so we are not doing bank stuff with direct banking. That's all within our partners Ponto and CoBase. In this session, I will go through CoBase because we have a sandbox also on the CoBase of the Ponto, because we have a sandbox solution in Ponto on CoBase. We cannot really demo it because you need additional contracts and that kind of stuff to set up a separate company synchronization and connection in the CoBase environments. But in basic, they will do the same in Business Central and within our app with the reconciliation and the payment process. What is the benefit of using direct banking? We get real-time insight in cash flow. This means that with one push on the button, we can extract the saldos, the balances from the bank account into Business Central. And also, if you want to see if, for instance, a customer has paid something, just import the transaction with just one hit on the button to see if new transactions are available in Business Central. It's all PSD2 compliant, so this means that we're working with Ponto and CoBase with the basic rules of the European government. That means also that we have to do, let's say, to consider some of the standard procedures that we have over there about fraud and authorization. But this I will talk to that part a little bit later on in the Ponto integration. Next to it, we have the payment initiation. We can start paying our vendor open invoices with Ponto or CoBase. So have you directly the authorization within Ponto or CoBase, and then it will be directed to the bank in Ponto or directly paid through the CoBase solution. Flexible synchronization means that we can also have multiple synchronizations in different companies. And also the next step, freedom of choice, preferred platforms. If you are just European based and also have a lot of connections with European banks, Ponto is probably a good solution. If you need more, let's say, international banking and more authorizations and let's say levels of payment and balances, you probably need to CoBase solution. For instance, next step, we have also the help for direct banking available in the manual. We will show it later on in the direct banking setup, but you can also access our manual to have some additional information about what I'm going to tell you today. Okay, well, this is a short introduction for the Ponto. What I want to do for this part, also new for me, we will try to set up the integration in Ponto, and we'll go from the integration and set up the synchronize this integration in Business Central. So I created the company, I did some testing already, and I hope it will go all right. So I will switch now to my my other screen, to my Explorer, and we'll go to the Ponto application. Let's see. So first of all, Ponto. If you are going to use Ponto and you're not certain with your customer which banks are provided with Ponto and which solutions are provided, just go and search for the bank reach and search for the bank if it's available. You see the financial institutions based on countries. You see what kind of information is passed to the bank through the Ponto solution. So we have the account information, so that's just the bank transactions that can be imported in your systems, in your API. You have the payment initiation, and that's, let's say, the payment of your vendors within Ponto to your favorite banks. And we have the bulk payment option. That means that we can also do a bulk payment from Business Central and also do a one-time authorization to, let's say, pay several vendors in one batch. If one of those is not available, or sometimes you will see experimental, then maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. So it is also continuously improving also, and also new banks are connected, and also all banks are busy with PSD2. So all banks also do a lot of, let's say, updates and upgrades on that part. Well, this is important. So if you have a partner, a customer that needs the solution for the bank, just check if that's bank that what he uses is available. Well, let's get down to business. I will just close this screen. So normally, if you start with Ponto, you also need to contact with Ponto, and you will pay Ponto for a certain amount per each bank account or by each transaction. So you also need an account at Ponto. So we'll sign in right now. I have already an account in my test environment. I use my authorization for my phone. It can also be with SMS, of course. And then I will get into a portal where I can set up sync integrations. This is a sandbox over here. So if you have, let's say, direct banking and you can create your own account over here, can be for free, of course. And you can also do a sandbox and you can connect your sandbox with, let's say, a sandbox in Business Central. So just to see if verify and test something. Or I can just have integrations like this. If I go to the accounts, I can add that account on real time, choose real-time banks. For now, I will not do that. I will just have my testing sandbox banks is over here. What's needed for the integration? With Business Central, we use one integration per company. So if you have 4 companies in Business Central, 4 different bank accounts, the best is really 4 integrations, because each integration will get its own client and secret IDs. So I will just start to add one custom integration. And I'll give this one solid name, maybe just the name of your Business Central company. Then we have the option account information and account information and payment initiation. I will choose the bottom one. Depending on your bank, of course, if we can do payments within Ponto, you can choose the bottom one. Be aware that if you choose this one, also with PSD2, if you choose the payment initiation, you have to wait for authorization by the bank. This can take up to 24 to 48 hours to get this going. So yeah, in the real life, it means that you create your integration, it goes all well with your synchronization, you do the import, everything goes well, and then you start doing the export and you get an error that you're not authorized. Most of the time it's because then the payment initiation looks okay, but it's just not authorized by the bank yet. So that's all to do with fraud and that kind of stuff that should be checked. Also, if you want to start using it and you first choose for account information. If the customer later says, okay, this is okay, I also want to initialize the payment initiation, be aware that you have to delete this integration and start a new one with the same banks. Not difficult, but it's an additional handling that's needed. So my banks are already here. If your banks are not yet there with the real environment, you just have to connect your bank with the random reader or with other bank software. I just will connect some of the banks right now to this integration. And for me, I will take this one, and this one, and this one. So I will initialize 3 banks. And I'll add this to the integration. So this is the part that has to be, let's say, a notepad in place or something like that, because we have now created the client ID and client secret ID. I will copy those and will put it in the wizard right now. So I will copy this one, and I will go to Business Central, and I will start up the wizard. We have already about license, job queue entry. I will mention later. You can put it on to create a job queue entry for you. And this is a connection to Ponto, and then we have the client ID and the secret ID. So I already copied the client ID. Go back to this one, and we'll copy the secret ID. And when correct, it will activate the session. It's now active, and you can close this page. Go back to the integration. I have now the integration with 3 accounts linked. I can open it. Then I can go back to the credentials, of course, but then the client secret is not available anymore. You can always regenerate Just then be aware, if you regenerate the client secret, you have to regenerate it also over here, and go to the process again to create a new connection with Ponto. We will finish this up. So this is basically the first part of the integration. Let's see. So just to sum up, for the integration itself, you create your custom integration per company. You add your bank accounts preferred for that company, and then you copy your client and secret key, maybe to Notepad or something to keep it in close because you need it on the business central side. Yeah, basically for this part, we are now ready to go and switch to business central. Maybe it's also this moment a good idea if there are questions that we have. A little bit of interaction. Do you see questions, Elke?
There are no questions. Just if you can speak up a little bit. For me, you're clear, but we got a message that you could speak up a little bit. So be clear. If there are any questions, we will take a moment right now. If you have a question about the parts until now, so the setup, so the start of integration with Ponto, ask them now. We'll wait a little moment and then we will continue with Andre. Okay, there was a question coming in. We'll wait for that. Okay, we got a question. You showed that the banks were already connected and then you integrated. What happens if you add a new bank? So the question is, Andre, could you show how to add a new bank? I will mute myself and then unmute you.
Yes, certainly you can do. If you go to the accounts, and you can add an account. And now you see, well, my sandbox banks is, but normally you will see that list that we did see on when they close the sandbox list of the banks being the ING, KBC, Rabobank. And just click on the bank and start doing the process, and you can add them, of course, with your random reader or the other bank software, and use your what do we call it, your card, and do your process over here. So then you will enter your bank's portal and you will see your banks available at that portal. At that point, you can connect the bank and select. This is, let's say, the complete, let's say, acceptance procedure that you can have. At that point, you can also link that bank directly to an integration. But that part is, let's say, the integration with Ponto and also the software of your bank and also with your bank cards, which needed for the connection. I hope this will answer your question.
Yes, that answered the question. a little moment. Okay, we're gonna check if we can switch to another microphone for Andre. So please hold a little moment while we solve that technical issue. Is het erin?
Zit erin. Yes. Is this differently better?
Probably a little bit better. Let's use this microphone for the rest of the session. Let's try it first.
Okay. I will just speak a little louder. Hopefully everybody is happy with that. Okay, well, let's go to the next part. Then I will switch my screen. To this screen. What we are going to do now, we have, let's say, the integration in place.
One moment.
Okay, first synchronization. So we have the integration pending on the Ponto side. We have, let's say, walk through the wizard for direct banking setup. And now we are ready for the first synchronization of the direct banking accounts. So therefore, I will go back and switch again to Business Central, and I go to synchronizing. So the setup is done. We can go to the setup. We see that we have an active connection, and yeah, well, let's see what happens if I go to direct banking accounts and try to synchronize. I have direct banking accounts available right now, none yet, so I can just click synchronize accounts and try to synchronize the accounts that are based in that integration. So these are now available in Business Central, and we can now set it up and connect it to the bank accounts, being the bank accounts in Business Central. Sorry, this question, one moment, please.
Yes, I saw another question coming in that's maybe interesting to use at this moment. The question that we got is the following. For the integration, I have 30 bank accounts, but not all are needed to process payments. Can I make 2 integrations to the same idyn/Business Central platform, one with 30 banks getting the payments and one with 15 banks also processing the payment batches?
No, we can only set up one integration within one Business Central environment. So you need another company to have a second integration.
So your advice would be to have one So to have one integration with all the banks, you can't do two separate integrations.
Yes, that's correct.
That answer was clear. Thank you. Let's continue. Sorry for the interruption, Andre.
No problem. Okay, let's start with setting up. So first of all, I opened the first account, lost account on this, but it doesn't matter for this. We are going to just link the direct banking account that we set up in Ponto with the banking account in Business Central. We have account 47 over here, so we're just going to open the account over here, and normally you should have also the same account already in your Business Central environment. If the IBAN number is incorrect, it will also give an error. Also, if you have worked with multi-currencies, you have to set up the currencies also in your bank account itself. This is something a bit to do with the description. Some banks are not giving this description clearly in the API, so we can make this description more bank-like or more company-like, what you prefer. So this is the description. This is description and it is my test bank from the bank account itself. We need a template for the bank journals. If we are in the W1, we didn't need those templates over here. But now we are in the environment. What do we have more? We have to skip duplicate end-to-end ID. That's an important one. Some banks are using it more frequently right now, and it can be that you have multiple transactions with the same end-to-end ID, and it can cause problems with your reconciliation, and it will be then filtered over here, and you have to check them one by one. So this is easy. Just put this one on the skip, and it will just go through with your reconciliation process. This is the first bank. I can put this on active, and if I close the screen, you will see that this line is also a little bit bolder, and we are ready to go to the import. So the first time which is processed for the import, it will ask you the question, how far do you want to go back? This is, of course, has to do with connecting your bank account in Business Central balance with the balance from your bank, real-time balance from the bank. So you can play with it to get the correct balance in there. This is not that big. I will just say as far back as possible, because the sandbox is not really taking a long time. If you have a lot of transactions going on, be careful to do as far back as possible, because it can be very long, of course, because it will want to try to import all transactions at that moment. I did just do the import manually. You see the last transaction ID is now over here. And this means that the next time there's something going on the bank and new in the Ponto synchronized with the bank, it will also just import from that point. It will not just try to import everything at the same time again and again and again. So it knows where the last import has ended. Next to this, I just want to show you right now. I skipped it in the visit. We have the job queue. You can also set up a job queue. That's this one is now on hold. You can schedule job queues to get, let's say, every night your new import and your new reconciliation. So that means that it's The next morning, you'll have this information available in your bank giro journal or in your reconciliation journal with hopefully a good matching. You can set it up just to do the import and the reconciliation, but there are possibilities to just have, let's say, only the import for the transactions and separately the reconciliation of your transactions. But if its parameter string is blank, it will just do both in one run. I will just finish up the other ones. So this will be bank 0550. Yes. P50. Yes. Oh, this one also. Skip. And the last one. Let's see, this one I will do the payments later on. And we'll skip this one. And also then, because this one is for the payment initiation and the payment activation, we can also do some additional setup. We have over here bulk payments enabled, so the bank recognizes that we can have bulk payments and we can use the bulk payment in this scenario if we this one enabled. This means that if we send the export out, it will be based on bulk as soon as you have, let's say, two different IBAN numbers. If you want to have it, for instance, that you don't want to have bulk payments within the 5 first transactions in your proposal, you can just set the transaction count over there. But normally, if you want to have bulk, you want to have bulk from, let's say, 2 transactions combined together. On the right, you have some things about future date payments allowed. You can play with this also with today or payment discount due date. Be aware if you want to use this, you have to know that the bank only wants to have, let's say, executing dates and future dates being the same. So if you want to have, let's say, on due date next week Friday something, be aware that you have to put all the lines in the proposal on next Friday. If one of those lines is, for instance, Thursday, it will just say and override that to the execution date. So that the bank is not, let's say, trying to, let's say, split the batch payment again within separate lines because of the date. Okay, last part. Again, here you see first time solution. For this, it's ready to go. I can import the transactions, and also here I can go and choose go 1 week back for this one. And normally it should only do something 1 week back, and it will, yeah, it just shows some test accounts, test transactions that I did. The other part that will be there will be the transaction archive later on. So yeah, this is the first session of this is just a synchronization. And normally, if this is set up, your job queue is set up, or you want to just do import transactions manually a few times a day, you can also do that like this. Just import it, and it will just import. You will show it, I will show it later on if I make an export payment, and I will just also just do it manually with import transactions. Let's see. Yeah, before I will go do the reconciliation, I just want to go to the direct banking setup. Just to go over this part. So on top of you see, of course, the license key, and on the right you see the client of secret IDs. We just talked about the regeneration of client of secret IDs. If you regenerate the IDs, you can also just put the secret ID again here in this field, and it will update your connection. Also, the other thing that's important, we have some issues with on-prem installations and copying data of copying companies to sandbox environments and kind of stuff. That can be the case that your client and security are gone. So just if you copy companies, just go over the business again, and should just put in your client ID and security ID again to get everything connected again. Next to this, we have rejects. You can play with it if you have, let's say, banks with
I saw some questions coming in, and I think that this point is quite maybe a little bit hard of a question. I will the first question coming in about this part was, could you please explain the function of the skip duplicates end-to-end ID button?
Yeah.
That was question 1. And there was another question. I see that authorization has an expiration date. What happens then? Do you need to fill the client secret in again? So maybe we can first, you can first explain the skip duplicates end-to-end ID check. And then we will maybe go over the expiration date, and then we can continue.
Yes, we can. Maybe the end-to-end ID I can explain a little bit later with the reconciliation. That's maybe a better idea, because I have, let's say, I think 2 transactions with the end-to-end ID. And for the authorization, yes, the authorization expires date is something that is also part of the PSD2. We have a 90 days authorization policy, and after 90 days you have to authorize it again, and that's not more that you go into your Ponto integration and do a new authorization over here. For instance, reauthorize over here, and you just go through the process again, and you get your banking card. You go to your bank, and we'll enter your information again, and it will be reauthorized for the next 90 days. I know they are busy to try to get to 180 days, but yeah, well, currently it's just 90 days. But just reactivate your bank account that are just going to expire just over here, and you don't have to do anything after that, but just be in time through this. So if you get the first signals that it's going to expire, just refresh everything, and then nothing will happen over here. It will just update this information over here. For the skip duplicate entity, I will pick it up after we go to reconciliate, and I will explain a little bit more about that one. Okay, setup. I was talking about the rejects and the patterns. So some of the banks have, let's say, duplicate information also in remittance info. So again, they have information about, for instance, the customer name or the IBAN and so on. And with Regex, we try to have some patterns in there for different banks. We have currently two, which can skip that the information and that the reconciliation will not take part of putting the information into a search pattern. I can go to which patterns over here. You see some patterns imported. You can import some available patterns. We have only the ABN and the ING at the moment. If there's need for more, we can just add those patterns over here. So it's just about skipping information that is not needed. We talked about the manual, also go to manual. We'll go to our direct banking manual to get some inside information. And other part important for the setup is which one we are going to use. The general part is for now set on the NL localization and Ponto, because we just created, let's say, the app with the Ponto solution. If you have CoBase, it will be CoBase over here. Next to this, we have now the W1 available, and with Ponto, and we can use our direct banking entity to use it with the W1. We'll switch it back to NL right now. Next to this, we have the payment authorization preference. Where are we going to pay? From within Business Central or from the provider's portal. This means from Business Central that we are going to do the export and we have the payment link in Business Central, and you can just click the payment link and you will be redirected to your bank through Ponto. If it's all on sample provider's portal, it will just create a payment in your Ponto portal. So you will see in the Ponto portal that one of the banks will have to do a payment procedure. So it's a little bit more, let's say, hidden. For the setup, this is probably it for now. We just start with getting the bank synchronized. And we'll start with the bottom one then, because I think on this one we have some duplicates. Yeah, I think these one are duplicates. So, so the duplicate end-to-end ID is some check that we do because the banks stated that we have, let's say, a field which says that each transaction should be unique with the end-to-end ID. But we notice that some of the banks are misusing those fields and then stating additional information from the customer being, let's say, email attachment or that kind of stuff. And then it will search for that in the system, and the system will think, okay, this is maybe the same transaction that is important. And that's then not the case. It's just having the same, let's say, description somewhere. So this is probably what it does right now. So I just do skip right now, and I will just create the reconciliation. So this is the part, let's say, of the matching process. I create reconciliation lines. It's the first time, so it's a little bit slow. And there's one statement created. So within the job queue, if you have, let's say, reconciliation and the import in one batch or in one run, it will just have the Open Bank Geo Journal for your use the next day available. I will open it. So that can also be part of the accountant profile or something. So it just will see this information over here that it's just linked. So what happened right now? We haven't created the Bank Geo Journal based on what it finds in the remittance info. So this is now the description. So these descriptions are the remittance info from your paying customers or your vendors. We just try to find this information in Business Central, being your vendor ledger entries or your customer ledger entries, document numbers. And additional, we have a matching entry table, which is also storing information about your reference, external document numbers, and that kind of stuff. So if the customer is clear about what is paying and what has to be paid and that kind of stuff, and the information in Business Central is accurate, you will see a lot of applied over here. If not, yeah, that can be the case always, and probably then you're missing some additional things. We will try to match on the customer name with the amount, the customer IBAN number with the amounts. We just try to apply amounts itself based on the total. So, for instance, this is not directly one open the customer ledger entry, but you see over here we have two customer ledger entry, and the total amount is then exactly this amount. Next to this, yeah, well, we try to see more and more with how to log and how to see why it's matching some information. So you see on the right, next exact amount is matching over here. I can click on this one, and if you have some more information, your reference is a match over here with the exact amount, and it should be the same. Yeah. So you see that we also try to do some additional logging in this in this new release, that we can see also why something is probably matching or not. Next to this, if we are talking about, let's say, GL accounts, that has to do with the mapping. So this is now mapped with 0071, all based on what's over here. You have to map text to account settings. And it picks about now this one. So it just did find something in your description, your remittance information, and it just said, okay, if you find this word, you propose in the GL account 0071 in your bank Giro. So this happens over here and over here. So that part is then, let's say, also covered. So normally, if I just want to post this part, I just can post it. I don't have to add or change anything right now. So in theory, this should be yeah, the solution for everybody. But well, in real practice, it's of course not always the case, and you have always some manual movements over here, and that's always possible, of course. Especially if we're talking about, let's say, the reconciliation process itself for the first import. We did now the first import. What we always can do is, let's say, you have the first import and it's wrong. You can always throw the complete bank zero journal in the delete in the trash can. I'm just going to delete it right now. And we have also something called transaction archive. First, for the because I want to show the skip duplicate, I will do this right now. And I will go to transaction archive, and in the archive, everything is stored. So all transactions that you import are available also in the archive. If the transaction is in the bank zero journal somewhere, or it's already posted, it will not have the possibility to set it in processed again. So I can click over here, set in processed. What happens, I can do, let's say, the input process again. So it looks like it's again new imported. It's all over here, and I just can create reconciliation lines again. And now you see in here that we have one of those 1 million euros in MEI 2022 hanging because I have a reference over here, which is already in my Open Bank GRM journal. So if I open this one, I import already this one, and the system now thinks I have to double check it. That's all. And if you're certain that's okay, you can always go back, allow processing, archive it again, and you see here that you can also make that only in process. And of course, I have to skip it again. Sorry about that. And it will then be here separately, or if I deleted the other one, it will be in there again. So it's just about, let's say, an extra check that you can have to see that you're not have duplicates in your system. But we see more and more that that you can just skip that part. Just by clicking this one, and it will just produce it. So this is double check that you can do for the duplicates. Is that clear enough? Or
There are no questions coming in about this part. The session is recorded, and attendees and registrants for the session will receive a recording of this session. That was one of the questions that were asked during the previous part. Are you ready to continue with the next part?
yes, we continue then. We'll go back to my PowerPoint. Just go over some slides, and then we go to the part of payment initiation. Let's see what I'm sharing right now. So we're going to the slides again. We have the job queue. Yeah, that's better. We talked about the job queue. We talked a little bit about the direct banking setup, how you set up different possibilities to do your payments. We did some things about the text to account matching that we can do. We get some regex information, depending on the bank, it's needed or not. We talked about the invoice matching. We talked about the payment initiation, batch payments, future payments, and duplicate end-to-end IDs. We did see, well, the first import and last transaction ID are very important. Also, if you have to do, let's say, a new import, you can always overwrite the last transaction ID with all zeros, and you can do a new import. And we'll just reset everything. And the reconciliation process, I did just now just a reconciliation of the NL environment. We're just going to go to also see some reconciliation on the W1, so it's a different journal. And also I want to then check out for the payment application rules itself. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to have for the matching engine, just to be part of how it a little bit tries to do and find the correct slide my screen a little bit to the bottom. How does the direct matching engine try to find the correct ledger entries? So this is something that you can check later on in the video, why something is probably found or not found, or what is found. Is it about exact match on amounts or not an exact match? Also important, for instance, we get some at the market that it's not finding the right customer, and then the customer name in Business Central is very different than the customer name in the part account reference information from the bank. That's all. Yeah, there are things that are just in practice not always the good solutions then for correct match. So it can only be then matching on the document numbers and exact matches. So the more information you have about your customer, just add it to the customer card. So if you have IBAN numbers for the customers, just add them. You can also add them directly from the Bank Zero journal or for the reconciliation journal. So if you have more information stored in your Business Central, your matching process will just be better and better. Yeah, the counterpart info is a very important part, of course. Try to store your IBAN numbers of your customers. Try to see if your customer names are basically correct, and try to get your customers into line that they are correctly putting out their invoice numberings, so that you can just search on your document number of your reference numbers. Yeah, well, this is another little process flow, how to match on different matching references that we have. So also good to see if you are testing or in your customer or trying to get this installed. Why sometimes the system makes some decisions on the match. For instance, we first try to do it on the standard document numbers, of course, and if that is not working, we will try to get the additional information about customer number, IBAN number, remaining amounts of the invoices and that kind of stuff. And then you're going to look on how matching entry, what we find over there. So it's more layers of checking. Payment initiation, that's last step I think about this one. Just want to do one thing before we go to the payment initiation, just to be clear that we did see everything. We have, of course, now the bank zero journal being over here. So I can just create reconcile and lines over here with the bank zero. So this is the part that is the Dutch localization. Try to apply everything. Looks perfectly. And the other one, I'll put it on the W1 right now. I close this and I close this one. And when I open this one again, you see that the bank zero journal is away and we have to open the reconciliation journal. I understand that my screen did not change. I will do it again on this. I will go back to what we just did. Back to the direct banking setup. We'll do it, change again. And open this one. I have to open bank zero journal over here. So in the, I can just go over here, create a reconciliation line, and open this bank zero journal. So this is just what we did see with the other bank. So this now also delete this bank zero journal. So bank zero journal is the diff localization. Go back to the direct banking setup, and I can change it to the W1 version. And I used our matching entry over here. And if I now open this page, you see the open reconciliation journal is now here instead of the bank zero journal. So basically everything is the same. Setting this in processed, we have it over here available. We create the reconciliation lines, and instead of the open banking zero journal, we open the reconciliation journal. And if correct, also here it will have some information about what is applied. A little bit different on this part is that we work with the W1 confidence, and you can also tweak this a little bit with the payment application rules. So this is part of the process of how you want to directly, let's say, apply. If you want to check, that's part on different possibilities that you can have and can create. So you have a related party match with document numbers, edit amount, tolerance, and so on. And you see the review required or apply immediately. So you can always tweak it a little bit with this part. What you see over here, you can also go click on one of those and you see the information why it's matching. And of course, it gives also a little bit more inside information on the process itself. Also on this part over here. There's a question, I believe, on this.
Before we continue, there was a question about the reconciliation. And I will ask the question. Will there be an option that the customer bank will be created automatically after reconciliation? So it will be matched the next time. So how I see this question is if you have reconciliated payment that comes in multiple times. So for example, the monthly fee for something. If once you have reconciliated it the first time, will it be matched automatically the next time? Or maybe I didn't interpret the question correctly.
I don't know. Yes and no. It can be, let's say, recognized if you just, let's say, have additional costs or how do you call it, banking costs or that kind of stuff. You have, of course, the possibility to just map text to account, and you can just create something that you do the first time. You map the text to account the first time, and next time there is something like bank cost or insurance or something like that. You can just point to the correct GL account or the correct customer, if you like. So if I click on this one from here, it just shows you, okay, this text, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to do to a debit or a credit account number, or just want to have it always to a vendor or a customer? So you can manipulate it a little bit. So you have to set it up the first time, and after that, the new reconciliation will check this information over here. It's always the first time that you have to include this information.
The question was, and I interpreted as, can reconciliations be repeated automatically? But I will repeat the question. So if it's a different question, then I just translated it to, will there be an option that the customer bank account will be created automatically after reconciliation, so it will be matched the next time?
Let's see. I think we have it also in both. Let's see if I have it. Now we're switching to the moment. But this one, I think we have it already in W1, but we have put it back on to this localization. Close. I will set everything on process again. And let's imagine that we have counterpart reference over here. Well, this is now applied perfectly, of course, but we see, for instance, over here on the additional information that this IBAN number is from Travelay Incorporation. So we have the possibility to just add that IBAN number if it's not there. So create a bank account, and that IBAN number will be added to that customer card. Close. And next time it also checks the IBAN, so you have more information for getting the correct customer paying the bills. So if I open the customer card right now, we can go over here, and it should be available. So yes, first time new IBAN number is there for the customer, just add it, and the next time it will find that IBAN number. That's a perfect, unique match, and it will find the customer quicker.
That answers the question. So thank you, André. We have 15 minutes left.
Yeah, no.
Yes, then 15 minutes, last topic. Last topic is about payment initiation. I'll pick this one. Payment reconciliation lies right now. First of all, I will show you a little bit about payment reconciliation in daily banking option. So what we did is for paying our vendors, we make use of the Dutch localization of the identification of the payment runs. So you see also the identification over here. So in this way, we can easily recognize new payments initialized from our company. So we just, no, I don't have to clean this. Let's go to the vendor. I'll pick the vendor itself. On the vendor itself, we have, of course, the transaction mode available with the bank that they want to pay. And in the transaction mode, there's more information, of course, about the export protocol that we use. So this is now, let's say, the Ponto export protocol. So you can set that protocol default on your vendors within the transaction mode. And if that's there, you can just create the invoices. And I will put the due date on today. So I'll just create one invoice right now and make another amount. So let's see, we have, yeah. First, yes. No. For this localization, we use the daily banking option, and we look at the proposal lines for the bank in place. This bank I want to have, I want to only put this vendor. more. So let's see what we have. So apparently we have more for this vendor. So let's have a take time. So apparently we have 2 outstanding invoices right now. But just let's give it a try. We say just yes for the proposed lines to proceed to the export run. And we open this part. So because we have the export protocol on transaction mode, we also see the transaction protocol over here, and we'll try to match those later on. I'll do the export right now. I'll say okay. I hope the other one is correctly also. So it will say transmitted right here. If there's something wrong, for instance, that the authorization is not correct or something, you will see an error over here. At this point, is it transmitted, and we have the direct banking setup based on payment flow. This is central. We will have, let's say, that identification ready over here. Now I'm just going to sign. I'm now redirected to the portal, of course, and the signing will then be redirected from the portal to your bank that is linked to Ponto. You see some additional information, and I can sign. Think about this as being, for instance, your Rabobank EMG screens processing the payment, and the payment is processed then through the bank and back into the system. So you can also see the payments over here if it's processed. I think this account, it's now transactions, so it's not yet back. Refresh. Yeah, there it is. So over here it's refreshed then, of course, and if it's refreshing in the Ponto, it should also be refreshed over here. So you can also see that it's paid over here. So being in this process, it will also can be 3 to 4 hours that we can, let's say, have the real-time information there because of, let's say, processing of the bank, of course. If it's all processed, well, normally maybe in the job queue the next morning it will be this within the job queue pushed back into the system. Now I'll do this manual on this part. You see on the bottom the vendor is paid through the system, and we have the transaction back from the bank. We can do the create reconciliation lines, and we open bank 0. What it does is it tries to find now the correct identification. This 399. It will find the 399 as being the payment run that we had initialized before, and it will just find the lines in the payment. This was, let's say, an example of 2 payments for one vendor, but of course, if there are multiple payments to different vendors in the batch, you will see the complete batch over here. So this is this local how it works. If you go for W1, a little bit different. Direct banking is set it. So that's part of today's session. Now get the W1 part. I will create a different invoice. To different vendor. This one. Same situation, a different bank. Well, different bank, different journal. Put in 3-day on today also. Okay. And for the W1, we have no daily banking, so we can the payment journal. And it's a little bit different. We have to suggest vendor payments, and it will be today. Let's see what we can find. Sounds gone. I think it should be enough. Look at it in. We get more in there. I will skip the other ones. Yes. Not sure. I think it's on the background for those. So I do know that this one is correct. And also the process is a little bit the same. You can go to the bank and do the export. And then we have, that should not be the case. Bank accounts. Missing bank account. Bank account. That's painful. Try it one more time. We will skip this one. I'm just missing something. I'll try to do it differently then. If everything is but no. It looks like this is not what to do today. One more time. So what should do? Oh, I will skip this one. This should be, let's say, the same procedure. Go to the export and your payment will be ready in a direct banking payments, and you can just sign it, and the process is the same back into the system. Yeah, pity that the account is gone somehow. I'll check that one. Let's see. Oh. Change screen again. Yeah, well, okay, this table banking proposal has been discussed, and the reconciliation with the bank unit has been discussed, and on the part of the export with W1, I will check it what I'm missing, and then I will update you guys. Looks like something fell off. Well, we are now at the end of this session, and also important because we have the W1. You can use the W1, for instance, also in different countries right now, and then you can have your own extension on that one to get, let's say, maybe your German or your French localization in place. So that's important to know. Not sure if there are many, let's say, contenders from outside the Netherlands are joining us today. But think about it, that you can contact us if you want, let's say, a localized version based on our direct banking app. Yeah, we're just running out of time, so just mention also again that we have another session coming on this afternoon and on Thursday and Friday. I don't know if there are questions pending right now. I'll ask Elke.
Thank you, André. There are currently no questions that hasn't been discussed yet during the session. Are there any questions right now coming in? You're already getting one, thank you. So thanks, André, for the demo. If you have any questions that are not answered during the session, or if you have any questions coming up in the upcoming days, you can send them to sales@idyn.nl and we will follow up with you via email. We have 3 more sessions, training sessions. One today at 3 o'clock, that's for Connected. And we have 2 more sessions on Thursday about ShipIt and ProBit. I don't see any more questions coming in. Thank you for the questions during the session. Stopping the demo for questions maybe a little bit makes it a little bit more interactive, but also a little bit more chaotic. But André, thank you so much for your demo and your time, and thank you for other attendees for joining. And I wish you a very good day furthermore. Okay, bye-bye.